Hello, everyone. Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are you? Thank you for tuning in today. I want to take a look at Volume 5. It is the Senate Intelligence Committee's report, bipartisan committee, establishing in minute detail the cooperation between the Trump campaign in 2016 and Russia. It tells us things that are new. We find out some new facts around Manafort's connections, financial connections to Russia and the role he played. We also find out more about Roger Stone, that he was drafting pro-Putin tweets and passing them on to Trump. We also know that Trump was not forthcoming in knowing about the WikiLeaks release. We know that. So I want to see this, because this was a bipartisan report, whether it will make it harder for John Durham to bring forward, who is the special counsel investigating the origins or the genesis of the Mueller inquiry, whether or not it will make it harder now for him to bring forward anything of substance. I suspect it will. DeJoy is appearing on Friday before the House. I was quite surprised he did that without a subpoena, but I think that they assessed that if he didn't attend, it would just inflame things, because there's so much anger around what has happened to the US Postal Service. That he knew the subpoena was coming, and perhaps even inherent contempt charges as well. So he's appearing on Friday, which is good. Now he's also backing off from doing anything further. I looked at a map where the over 600 sorting machines were taken away, and postal boxes were also either locked or taken away, and it largely occurred in blue states. So this is definitely a part of Trump's attempt to hijack the 2020 election. So DeJoy is very much in the I guess he's the target now. What's he going to do? Is he going to still protect this president, or what's going to happen in that hearing? Let's have a look. Will he be charged with anything? Because he's been referred, he has significant financial conflict of interests. Will he be charged? I think he's been referred, information's been referred to the FBI. Will he be charged? Now, the Board of Governors put him there, which means that the Board of Governors could also be complicit. Let's have a look at where they stand, because one House hearing is not going to solve this. Will they be able to do something, continue to undermine your election, by covert means? I've been asked to read on Q. Let's just leave it at Q, because we don't want them descending upon the channel. We'll call them Q. You know who I mean. Will they get a foothold in US politics? Will they actually deliver somebody to the Congress, because you have their candidates standing? And of course, the Sideshow Don has come out and pretty much endorsed them. So let's get a start on this. Volume 5. I'm using my Lowe's Scarabeo Classic Deluxe Tarot, and if I have to clarify, I most likely will clarify with the Connolly Tarot. Okay, so that's the tarot decks, for anyone wondering what tarot decks I'm actually using. All right, let's get a start. Volume 5. Mueller and more. The Mueller report went further than the Mueller report, and of course the Republicans had their say at the end of the report, additional notes, and of course the Republicans said that this report proves there is no collusion. I'm not sure what their definition. Collusion isn't even a legal term, is it? And so this is again using that old argument: no collusion, nothing to see here. It is actually spin because you've got almost 1,000 pages which precede the comments, which show the active collaboration and cooperation between the Trump campaign and Russia. There's a lot of redactions in there, and the Democratic Party, the Democratic members on that committee were quite forthcoming at the end as well, and say that Trump is because of his extensive financial ties, because there has been no way to investigate those, he is a counterintelligence threat to the US. Well, that's an understatement, isn't it, with what we know now? All right, so Volume 5, will it make it harder for Special Counsel John Durham to release any sort of report or any sort of findings which, it seems quite ridiculous. There's all these examples, evidence, proof of the collaboration between Trump campaign and Russia, and they're now going down to the detail about whether or not an FBI warrant was totally legal or not. And technically, there was some technical problems with it. So, all right. So, I just don't think, my feeling is these things don't get any traction anymore because of the weight of evidence against Trump that is already out in the public domain, that is already out in people's consciousness. Okay, so let's have a look. Durham, will it make it harder for Barr to spin this? Will the Senate Committee Volume 5 report make it harder? So we've got the temperance, so we've got judgment, something coming to an inevitable close. I think that's the Trump presidency. Even conservative polls still put Biden ahead by about nine points. Okay, so will it make it harder for Barr to spin or bring forward anything substantial in Durham's report? All right, so we've got the spy in the camp immediately out the gate, and you know who Sideshow Don is, the spy in the camp. Those around him are the spies in the camp. So many have gone to prison because they have been involved in activities that are anti-American. Some would go so far as to say treasonous. So we've got the page of swords as the first cut out. What is challenging that is the Two of Pentacles. Now that's interesting as a challenge. Two of Pentacles is all about, it's about money. Okay, so the fact that the missing piece of the puzzle is Trump's financial situation, Trump's financial links being beholden to Russia. That is what is the challenge at the moment, to prove out and out that he has, call it what you want, collaborated with Russia, and potentially there could be treason there as well. It is the financials not having them. Now we know we've got the Cy Vance case. I've talked about that, the Supreme Court decision as a really momentous a win of magnitude, because ultimately Cy Vance will get those financials. That will be the missing piece of the puzzle. Imagine that those, even if Trump somehow hijacked the election, imagine if those financials dropped, the missing piece of the puzzle. The president would have to be charged then with, one would assume treason. So we've got the Two of Cups. We asked about Durham. So there's a commitment and a contract here. Durham, I feel, was chosen for a reason. He has investigated Republicans He's been with the Department of Justice for a long time, Republicans and Democrats. But we've got the Two of Cups here as the foundation of the reading. This is a commitment, a contract. So he won't be able to step outside of his terms of reference. And Barr has drafted those very, very carefully to ensure that he only focuses on the beginning of the genesis of the Mueller investigation. And really, the president's ties with a foreign adversary, bad actor like Russia, really is unprecedented. So at the beginning, they were in uncharted territory, which would account for those technical errors. Being a bit flat-footed, Obama not wanting to interfere. Yeah. So we've got the Four of Cups. Now, I'm wondering whether Durham's report will just be something without too much substance that just focuses on some technical anomalies and then is spinned in a way, or whether he actually will. It's interesting. Now, we've asked the question, will it make it harder to bring forward anything of substance? Again, we keep getting a link back to the money trail, the Nine of Pentacles. In the immediate future, we've got the Nine of Swords, which is anxiety. I'm feeling the Trump family. The Volume 5 was groundbreaking insofar as it was a bipartisan effort and it established all that proof. They can no longer spin the tale that the Mueller report was a witch hunt or hoax. So I'm seeing significant anxiety on their part. This was a real loss, and I guess on the back of the DeJoy, how would you call it, operation failing. It's looking like what they had planned to do is not coming to pass. The Eight of Pentacles, which is a good sign that the system, although it is weak in many ways, is not as weak as one would have thought. It is all around the money. I'm just getting all these ties to Trump's connection with Putin. That's what all these cards are telling me, the financial connection. And that's the information that he's trying so hard to hold back, because it actually shows that he is indebted, financially indebted to Putin. So all of those lines in Volume 5 where you see even the Democratic members put on record that it was the financials that would be needed here to prove the link. Wow. Spirit is telling me keep hopeful, because it looks like these financials will eventually be known. This is a no, because it's not going to consider. It doesn't consider Trump's financial debt or links or ties to foreign countries, and until it does, that's the stopping point. But I don't see the Moon card as keeping things buried. I do see the Strength and Endurance card. I just don't feel the world beginning and endings. These are the two strong cards for a right outcome, a just outcome at the higher level. But I do feel Durham's doesn't uncover anything, and it won't uncover anything because the financial ties are the final piece in the puzzle in terms of evidence and proof. Now we have the Eight of Swords, which is restriction. I think Durham was even restricted, as I said, by those terms of reference. We have the Queen of Swords, which is normally my card for the House, Nancy Pelosi. We do have retreat. So again, what I'm seeing, unfortunately, is because the House committees couldn't get those financials, because Cy Vance will get them, but will they get them in time? It's just going to mean that whatever Durham brings forward is is just fluff. It's just, there's no weight in it at all. It will be technically correct around some of those subpoena issues, but the Senate Intelligence Committee report has just really thrown a huge spanner in the works. But what Spirit is pointing me to is are those financials. As I've read on that before, they will be known. They will come forward. So please don't worry, and that will be the final proof here. By that stage of the game, I wonder if Trump will even be still in the country. All right, so because that is, as you can see, the huge missing piece of the puzzle. Let's go to DeJoy. So no, don't worry about Durham's report at all. DeJoy. Okay, so he's appearing before the House. He's coming. I guess he's coming under threat of subpoena, but it didn't get that far. Will any? I guess, what is the House able to do? Nancy Pelosi's trying to bring forward a bill to give your postal service more funding, but of course, if that has to go through the Senate, that will probably be blocked. So let's just have an overarching look at DeJoy's testimony. Show me DeJoy's testimony in the House on Friday. Louis DeJoy's testimony in the House on Friday. I keep getting a pull to the European ambassador Sonderland. Actually caved, if you remember. He was a businessman. He got cold feet and he caved. I wonder if that's what DeJoy is going to do. All right, so let's have a look. Show me DeJoy's testimony in the House on Friday. DeJoy's testimony in the House on Friday. All right, review financial. This is review of he will make I guess a meal out of the losses of the US Postal Service and try and justify it that something had to be done to stop them hemorrhaging the money. But this is also showing the investigation of his money as well. Let's have a look. He will be challenged. That will be challenged. Here's Pelosi and her team coming forward. They have something up their sleeve here in relation to whatever he's going to bring forward, his main argument about the Postal Service hemorrhaging money. It's the big challenge to him. This whole appearance is going to be one huge challenge. Now, he would have been schooled because he has this contract with Trump. So it's a bit like Hope Hicks going in there, only answering so many questions. I can't recall. I can't comment on that. He will try and obstruct. Now, the Chariot card shows me the extent of feeling that is surrounding this whole plan to hijack the election via cutting back on the Postal Service. This is something that really is beyond Trump's control. Let's see. Okay, we've got retreat. DeJoy will retreat. He will, I guess, become the malleable businessman and say, whatever the government wants, we've stopped these cuts, etc. This is showing him retreating. Now let's keep going and see what else we can see. The Knave of Pentacles. There might be a win for Pelosi on acknowledging that the Postal Service needs more money. There might be that win, which would then, of course, set up, if any budget goes to the Senate, then of course that puts further pressure on the Republicans to accept that bill or to support that bill. But to be honest, you're running out of time. A lot of damage has already been done. So the Nine of Cups, there's a breakthrough occurring at the moment. So while damage has been done, the plan has also been thwarted. The Queen of Pentacles in the environment around, that's the economy, that's national security, that's The importance of the Postal Service for those relying on it. Now, we do have the strength and endurance card, which came up in my previous pull on Durham's report. You know, this is what we're seeing via the Democratic Convention, by the number of high-profile Republicans. A former Congressman Dent, is it Charlie Dent, has also endorsed Biden. The number of people that are moving toward just getting rid of Trump is just growing daily, and this is showing the strength and endurance of the Biden campaign as well. The ending of the Trump government, but we do have the Nine of Wands. So DeJoy is going to feel a bit battered around by the time he finishes. The Nine of Wands, that's wounded in battle. This is wounded in battle. This is somebody that really is at the end of his tether. I don't think he's going to lies and deception. Of course, that's the outcome. Is he going to lie under oath? He might slip up in some way about this is the position. Of course, all of Trump's henchmen end up like this, don't they? Michael Cohen was like that. This is how DeJoy is going to come forward. We've got clear what this hearing is going to establish. Is a clear lies and deceit and clear abuses of power. Okay, so that's good. That's what's going to come out of that hearing. We do have the judgment card. It's not a win for DeJoy, and it's certainly not a win for the governors of the Postal Service, and it's, of course, depending on how much damage Trump's plan was thwarted midway. The lawmakers are really going to take a stick here to them. This is a win for the Congress flexing its muscles. Now, I wonder, will a budget be passed? Will more money? Because I think that's the outcome. Pelosi is looking for justification, evidence, testimony that her bill to bring forward more funds for the Postal Service is justified. So, will the Senate pass a House bill? I'm assuming it has to go to the Senate. Will Republicans support Democratic Party move toward giving the Postal Service more money, restoring it, whatever was damaged, restoring what was taken away? Will that be supported? Will that be supported? Yeah, Six of Pentacles. It may not be at the level that Pelosi is talking about, but I think there will be with the Six of Pentacles giving and receiving help. There will be money put aside to, even if it's just to restore what was taken away. The Wheel of Fortune, yeah, something's going to shift. So this is a good outcome. The Ten of Swords is a total and utter downfall, I think, for DeJoy and for Trump. And we have more money being given. So, yeah, I think it's possible. The Knight of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles, there will be some additional money for the Postal Service based in part on the way the Democratic Party is going to leverage DeJoy's testimony. Okay, that's my hope. I hope I'm right. May not be the full extent, but it will be enough. Okay, so let's have a look at, now there's that referral to the FBI. Will DeJoy be charged? My gosh, he's certainly wounded. That Nine of Wands was a particularly graphic image. DeJoy, will he be charged? Will he be charged? Will DeJoy be charged? I had felt up until now he wouldn't, but I feel he might slip up. There could be some perjury there. Will DeJoy be charged with anything? 10, okay, we've got the voters. This is around the election interference. I've always felt he's going to resign, and that really confirms it. Yep. Okay, these are not good cards for DeJoy. Okay, he's isolated and beleaguered. there is going to be something around taking money away at the time of in the middle of a pandemic. This is I think election interference. I don't know the law in your country, but look at these cards. So I had felt that he might just resign and it wouldn't go any further. But as a result of his testimony, in some way, I feel that there's going to be some real problems for DeJoy in relation to your election interference laws, and interfering with the postal service generally, I think is also there as well. All right, so let's now move to Q. We're just going to call them Q. Q. We have oh gosh, I hope America can hold back this movement, because it will come to Australia, no doubt. So let's see if we can hold back this Q moving into the mainstream. Now, our Prime Minister has also a link somewhere along the line. I think it's one of his advisors, relatives, or one of his advisors, previous advisors, or friends or colleagues, was involved in that movement. I just saw something slip right up there very quickly, a little orb there. So it's more wider than we think. Politicians, right-wing politicians, looking for a leg up, and they use these fringe groups, political groups, to spread lies. Okay, Q. Is it going to get will Q get a member into Congress? Will Q get a member into Congress? Will Q get a member into Congress? So there are efforts, and there will be efforts to hold them back and to wall them off, but they might be successful to begin with. Will Q get a member into Congress? Well, those walling off efforts are going to be successful. That's heartbreak and loss. Let's see where that's going. And we've got the two of wands. Be patient. Even if they do get that member who has been endorsed by the Republican Party, be patient, because eventually there's loss coming down the track for them. What I saw when I clairvoyantly was I saw a wall being built to keep keep their influence out. So enough people are going to relegate them to the fringe. They're not. I don't feel they're going to take hold in the mainstream. This is bullying, harassment, and an abuse of power as the foundation of the reading. The Five of Swords. It's not a healthy political world that we live in. The Five of Cups, loss, people feeling abandoned by the system. Let me bring the laptop down. What's crowning this reading? Political groups and leaders taking advantage of those that join these sorts of movements for their own gain. I also feel that those that are involved with Q are very vulnerable. Now, there is some question marks around Q being started by Russia, again, to sow those seeds of division. We've got complete and utter downfall here, this Ten of Swords. So I'm feeling, again, when I look at the landscape, the wall that was being built actually is shutting them off in some way, shutting them down. Okay, Nine of Swords, anxiety, abuse of power, anxiety. These are not good cards. The Two of Pentacles can sometimes be manipulating other people's anxieties. So I'm getting a draw here to those that follow Q. I'm getting they're being masterly manipulated. Okay. Temperance, balance, that's the hope. We've got the Temperance angel appearing in the hope position. And I am hopeful that they won't get a hold. No, we've got the King of, well, okay, two things. The King of Wands. This tells me can be lawmakers. It's in the outcome position. So this person could get elected. But ultimately, we've got the Knave of Wands. Ultimately, the movement won't be successful. Yep, thank you. Okay, so it's in its infancy as a political movement. It's got the Tower card, so it's showing me there's been manipulation of members to political manipulation, and it is obviously such an obvious abuse of power. But there's a Tower card here, so okay. At the base of the pack, we've got Justice. Okay, and we've got the Magician. This is actualizing something into reality. We do have a win. The win in November to change this administration is what I'm seeing here, to restrict this movement. But there will also be a review of who they are aligned with. So now I'm going to ask about the speculation that Q was started by the Kremlin. Let's have a look at that. Because these are the structures. These are all the structures with that Tower card that need to change. And the change of the government in the US is the start of that recovery and healing. And that's why I still do political tarot and pull on what is happening in the US. It literally is one direction the world can go in and then another, because we've all got free will, haven't we? Okay, so let's have a look. Did Q start was Q started by the Kremlin? Was Q started by the Kremlin? Was Q started? Was Q started by the Kremlin? Okay, so I think it was proliferated and started because I'm seeing the King of Pentacles, which of course is Trump, the businessman. I think, now I don't know the origins of Q, but I feel that it was part of the campaign to discredit the other side, the Democratic Party. I also feel that Trump knew of it, which means that it was started by the Kremlin. Okay, so was Q started by the Kremlin? Was Q started by the Kremlin? They didn't think it would. No, it's nothing to laugh at, but they didn't think it would take hold in the way that it did. So I've got a lot of cards coming out. Oh dear. Okay, so I'll just take a quick look at these. So we've got the money, the monetary aspect here, the manipulation of the population by the puppet masters, and it's all about money, wealth, and control. Illusion and delusion, of course, to delude people. People being at the crossroads, and this is what in 2016 was missed by the other side. People genuinely feeling grief that they have been left behind. But I do see death here, and I do see national security. So in some way, when a new administration takes over, it's going to be walled up and walled off and investigated. Was designated a terrorist organisation last year, as I understand it, in the US. So Putin, the Kremlin, did this originate in Russia? Did Q originate in Russia? The Kremlin do this as part of the campaign 2016. Q, the Kremlin. Yes, the Nine of Pentacles. Again, luxury, freedom. Unfortunately, members of Q have long lost sight that the puppet masters are the people that are the wealth, want to maintain wealth and control. Okay, yes, illusion and delusion. So also what I'm getting here as well, that members of Q want a leg up, but their delusions are they're not going to get what they want because they're labouring under this delusion. Death. Oh, goodness gracious. Death to the United States. Again, the illusion and delusion here. Sorry, the Six of Cups is the past, going back to the past. I haven't used this deck for a while. Okay, well, that actually, the way I interpreted that was spot on. Wanting things to go back to the past, living in the past, but labouring under this delusion. We've got the Death card here. All right, things coming very, very quickly. This is the planting of the conspiracy theories, social media itself, being unable to hold back these conspiracy theories and the growth of it. Here was the King of Pentacles I was seeing at the beginning of the reading. So yes, this was a Russian part of the Trump and Russian campaign to get Trump elected in 2016. At the moment, we have the Four of Wands, which of course is Democrats. I think having the upper hand because the environment around is so deceitful, so untruthful, so treasonous, so in every way has wrought this attack on the country, and attack on stability as well. The hopes and fears that this would cause loss, that this is a sowing of division, but this is loss for Trump, which is really interesting. Death, the ending of the King of Pentacles, and we've got the loss card here. We've got the Four of Coins, which is holding back information, insecurity. So this reading's kind of stepped up a little bit insofar as it's now gone to Trump. It's also gone to anyone that manipulates people like this, are trying to hold back something, are trying to, again, manipulate and stop illumination here. Let's see what else here. And the Moon card, yeah. These are cards that show me that this was to bolster Trump's campaign in 2016, and he knew about it. It was very easy to sow the discord, and it went like wildfire once it was sown. But we've got these cards here that show that it's just not going to work anymore. The Devil card, of course, you would see that. The 10 of Coins, which is the Trump Organization and loans and debts. Okay, so here I'm thinking that it's not a surprise for Trump to continue to endorse Q, let's just put it Q, because it was a part of his campaign covert strategy in 2016, originated in Russia, and he knew about it. Okay, and we come back to that missing piece. The puzzle always is what are the financial links between the Trump organization and Russia. That's where we come to. So if you think about, before you start to get a bit downhearted, if you think about what we knew 3.5 years ago, the reality TV star with some dubious past got elected, and now look at what we know now. The Volume 5 of the Senate Committee, the unearthing of the DeJoy Trump plan, the majority wanting a new start for the country, wanting to reject this, the wall is being built between this ever happening again. Certainly in the near future. I would hope the world would be a different place in the future, and that this would never happen again, because the basis of all this is money, greed, control, wealth, and affecting vulnerable people. So on that note, no, I'll finish. We're at 38 minutes, so we'll finish there. But thank you for tuning in, my friends, and I will see you again for another reading soon. Thank you.